So what are we doing?
We are doing a wine tasting, a comparative tasting of wines that are from the same same winery at different price tiers, different price levels.
Yep, same varietal. We have been talking about this for years.
Yep.
I think one of our one of our most loyal watchers was finally tired of hearing us talking about it. I think is kind of how this happened. Yeah. And since one of the wines that we really enjoyed a few weeks ago was also the let me just put up the picture here so we can start kind of talking about everything. Was this one right here when we did our Zinfandel tasting? This is actually the one we picked out of the 3 we tried. Like I said, my good friend and his wife, who's also my good friend, both of these wonderful people, they went to California and they went to this winery. And they said while they were there, they said, well, we'll bring him back this one.
That one.
And we'll bring him back this one. And in doing so, they're like, we can finally shut them up. They can have this tasting and they can see what this is actually like. So it's very, very great. So we're very excited. So what have we got? We've got the OZV.
From Oakville Winery. Correct?
Oak Ridge Winery.
Oak Ridge. Well,
yeah.
I think I tweeted the wrong thing then.
Oh my God.
I know. I think I tweeted Oakville.
You might need to retweet that then.
We should maybe delete that.
Fix that. So we've got the Moss Rocks Old Vine Reserve 2020, I believe. And then we've got this one, which is the 1906 Vintners, which was not made in 1906. It's not that old.
No.
This is 2018.
Okay.
So we're going to be trying all 3 of these. We're just going to open up the OZV right now. That one was provided to this guy right here.
Yes, that one I did buy again.
Should we open up all 3?
I should open up all 3, yeah.
Man, he's like, hey, how can we make this guy do even more work right now?
I can open up one of them. We'll fine.
We're going to share the same bottle opener at the same time?
Well, no, you have to...
How does that work?
You hold the bottle, I'll use the wine. You can pour, and I can start the next one. Okay. Or I can pour when however you want to do it.
That sounds perfect.
However you want to do it.
All right, well, I do this then.
At least then they'll get a little bit of chance to breathe.
So the OZV, which we have had before, this one is 11 months. How long do they do this
11 months in French and American oak, 85% Zin, 10% Petit Syrah, and 5% Cab.
These are all blends, none of them, even though they are Zinfandel, as we talked about the other week. Right. What you can go down to 70%. Is that what you were saying?
I think it was 70 75.
75% of the main varietal. Still be able to call it that varietal, and then you can use filler for the rest of that. All right.
So open that? Oh, you got?
No. Why don't you go ahead and pour?
Okay.
And I'll start opening the others. Yeah, that's just delicious. I like this one. It's jammy. It's fruity. I think it's still got a little bit of, dryness and a little heft to it, so it's not like overly sweet, but it is on the sweeter side for most wines. But I just really like the flavors in here. Just classically delicious.
You're going to have a lot of open wine bottles after this.
I know. I'm really going to have to drink. I was going to do that beer for tomorrow for the thing, but I should probably pick one of these. I got a lot of wine to drink through. Yeah. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good problem to have. Wine number 2, we have left it open here for a little bit, but we'll probably let it sit in the glasses as well, just to be safe.
We'll swirl it.
We'll get it going. This is the Moss Rocks Estate Grown, Lodi, California. Old Vine Reserve Zinfandel 2020. Hey. Info on this one is we've got a new blend here compared to the last one.
Very similar, though, as far as Zinfandel, because I think the last one was 85. This is 84.
Oh, we've lost a percentage. We've lost a percent. Up in price.
We got a petite 14% Petit Syrah and 2% Petit Verdot. There's a lot of percents and petites that I had to say right there.
That was very tough.
Tripped me up a little bit, but I made it through.
You're a professional. This one gets less aging as well.
Ooh, yes, only 6 months. Also in 80% American, 20% French oak. But it's hot.
15.75%.
Whoa.
This one, we go up in price. Based on the website. Again, if you find it elsewhere, you might be able to find it a little bit cheaper. Sometimes this doesn't, make its way out. So this might be the actual just final price. But anyway, based on Oak Ridge's own website where you can buy things directly, $24. So we've gone up $9. Like I said, we've lost a percentage of our Zinfandel, 1%.
1%.
We've lost 5 months of aging.
Oh, man.
But we have gained almost 2% in alcohol.
Okay.
So who knows? We'll see how this comes out in a wash. It's always very interesting when you can actually go directly back and forth between 2 different wines, like even ones that you have enjoyed, tried before, whatever. Like that, to me, is always what's so fun about this kind of thing. Because even having smelled like I said, the Moss Rocks, it almost changes the way the other one smells a little bit when you go back and forth.
Yes, it does. I'm getting a little heat though from the moss.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, definitely get a little bit of heat.
Mossy alcohol heat.
There's still some of that, definitely that raspberry, like I said, preserve kind of comes through. It's not quite as sweet. It's more of like, probably like literally like a fresh picked kind of raspberry. Like there's no other like added like sugars to it or anything else. Like it's more,
it's a little bit
natural.
lower of a note. This is the OZV is a little higher of a fruit note, I would say. Yeah, definitely that. Yeah, and raspberry.
And I think almost because of that, I get even though there's less, I almost feel like I get a little more wood or vanilla in this. So.
Yeah, I definitely get some vanilla from that.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting in that. So much more even aroma. Like we did talk about, even though that was our pick from the last time, we did several Zinfandels, the OZV, but that one definitely has some big spikes in aroma, whereas this one is much more blended together, a little more harmonious, but it is bringing some of the alcohol heat though too.
That is true.
Taste time?
Of course.
Done.
It's just sort of one smooth wave of delicious flavor.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's really good. Yeah. It doesn't, like I said, it's much more like the uniformity is there. Like I said, it is just a really good wave. There are definitely some, like I said, the jam is in that raspberry jam is kind of in there. I almost get like there's a little vanilla, a little oak. I almost get like a little hint of like bittersweet chocolate. There's something else that's like kind of a different kind of fruity note in there. I'm not exactly sure what, but that's in there too. But they're all amazingly blended together. I don't think it tastes as hot as the aroma would say to me. Like every time I keep smelling it, I'm like, ooh, this is going to have a lot of alcohol to it. It's really going to come through. I don't get that. And I don't know if it's just because of the richness of the body as well. But I think this is delicious.
But
this is really good.
It is there. And I actually like the little bit that it adds to it. I wouldn't say that, that you just kind of get that little bit to me at the end, and it gives it a little nice boost of, or a little additional flavor component.
A new addition?
The heat. Yes.
Wine number 3, as we talked about earlier, this is the 1906 Vintners, a family tradition for over 100 years. Does that check out? Yeah, it checks out.
Yes.
It does. So once again, this is a 2018 Zinfandel, and we've got some more new stats to talk about here on the 1906.
Different stats.
What have we got here?
This one is actually almost all Zinfandel. 95% Zinfandel to be exact, and 5% Petite Syrah.
Which is carried out through all of these, correct?
The Petite Syrah?
Yeah, was it Syrah in all of them? Petite Syrah?
Yeah, I think it just changed.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, so there was Petite Syrah in all of them. The other ones either added Cab or the other one added, what was the Moss Rocks
Petite
added?
Verdot.
Which is just a fun word to say.
Yes, it is.
How long has this one been aged? Did we go down in aging again? Like year-wise?
No. 18 months in French and American oak barrels. I know.
You have my attention. You have my attention. You also have a few more dollars that you've had to spend for this one. So we went 15 on the first one, okay. 24 on the second one. So we went up $9. Okay. Did we go up $9 again?
We have not.
We didn't.
We've gone up to 32.
We went up to $32 based on current pricing on their website. Again,
on their website, right.
You might find this a little cheaper somewhere else, like all of those kind of factors. Again, like I said, this is just going by their website, which we'll have links to down in the chat or at our website, AboutBeverages.com. You can check out all that stuff, or on YouTube if you're watching the archive. Should all be down there in the comments. We went down a little bit in ABV this time, so we went down to 14%.
14.
Not that matters in any way whatsoever. Like I said, the other one, I was actually surprised at the taste when it came to that, but we were only on aroma. So what do we think of the aroma of the 1906?
I'm getting the fruit, but it's not as fruit forward as either of those other two. I'm also getting like some, I know these are sometimes, they're not negative descriptors, but like a little bit of leather almost. There's something heavier in there. I know sometimes people use tar, and it's not a bad thing. But
oh my God, that's exactly what I was going to say. No, that's amazing.
It's got those kinds of.
I hate this. I wish we had different opinions.
Okay. Yeah, no, they're like leathery tar. That there's actually the Susamaniello that we tried, the Italian,
right?
We used to describe that to people as a dirty Zinfandel, as something that had, those kind of, but also those, and that's kind of what this is to me. It's a little bit naughtier.
A little bit of a naughty. Yeah. So the only thing I would add to your description, which is great, like I was thinking leather, and I was actually in my head, I actually thought the word tar. Like I said, that's that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, not at all.
A Zinfandel.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's even better. Was actually a black currant as well. Yeah. I think there was I think the raspberry has crossed over on all of them.
Yeah.
Kind of keeps going, I think, down a little bit in varying degrees about how much what kind of how ripe the raspberry is, to be honest. But this one, comes with a little bit more black currant, and like I said, the leather and a little bit. It's a different layered complexity.
Yep.
And that's what's amazing. All three of these have been very different. I'm going to be kind of fascinated when we get to the final bit here, and we use, as we always do, we kind of pick one which was our favorite.
Yeah.
What we're going to wind up going to. Should we go to the taste?
Absolutely. That's a Zinfandel that I think a cab drinker would like. But it's got it doesn't have the tannin necessarily, but it's got some grippy goodness. I think you hit on it too with the black currant being in there, but it does still have some of those other like heavier notes, those leathery, earthier notes that they're not like dominant or overwhelming. They're like, to me, they're just part of the delicious structure that's going on in there. So.
I think a lot of that's got to be the oak kind of coming forward maybe too, and bringing a little bit more of that to the tail, like that wood kind of being, at least how I feel, like I said, being integrated a little bit more. Like I said, a little light vanilla. I get a weird, not weird, that's not the right thing to say. I take that back. I get a pop of cherry that I did not get in the aroma. I get that at the forefront of this. Like there's like this very brightness that I was not expecting. It does not last very long, but it's like this, ooh, cherry. And then it kind of like backs off back into the black currant, the leather. Yeah. I don't really get the depth, like I said, with the tar that we talked about in the aroma. Like I don't feel that coming through.
Not that, because I think now it's opened up more, and I think you also sort of hit on it because currants can have that sort of dried raisiny sort of, it's not raisin, but that sort of dried concentrated sort of fruit going on.
All right, so we've tried all three of them. I'm assuming we kind of want to probably go back through really quick now and kind of taste all again and maybe form a last opinion. Are you trying to wait? Did you just move them all around again?
No, I have them in the right way.
He just switched all of the glasses like some sort of three-card Monty player.
It's one of those games that you see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's taste all these again, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
Do you have a favorite?
I think I do.
And
I would honestly say I think the Moss Rocks Zinfandel, that one is my favorite.
That's the second one.
That is the second one. That is the tier 2. That is the $24 Zinfandel.
I agree with you. I'm going to pick the Moss Rocks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was the one I thought. I kept thinking, I'm going to pick the expensive one. And I was like, no. And I thought, no, I'm going to pick this one because this one smells like Zinfandel. No. And then I was like, I went back and forth. And then there was something about that. I don't know if it's the alcohol heat that brings out a little something. I don't know what it is, but that is the one that, I would pick. Would be the middle one.
Do you think the jump from the OZV, which we had liked previously on a podcast, is that a $9? Like, that's kind of what we talk about. Like, so if we start talking about dollars, would you go like, both of those are on the shelf. You're like, ooh, I'm going to spend the extra $9 to get that one.
I would spend the extra $9 to get that one if I'm taking it somewhere.
I would kind of agree on the same thing. Like, I think it's one of those things where you almost talk about, and I know this, again, sounds a little odd, but like I said, if you're talking the daily drinker, something that you're going to have on a more consistent basis, it's probably still the OZV. Yeah. But then for me, of the other two, what becomes the like, ooh, special, like, ooh, what do we have? Hey, should we open that one tonight? Like that kind of thing. Yeah. I think the Moss Rocks is the one that definitely hits. Like, again, all from this winery. And what's really neat, and again, you might be able to tell this even if it was different wineries, but I feel there was an amazing thread between all three of them. Like I said, we definitely got similar notes, similar flavors that made me like kind of recall back to the other ones. And then it was just like what kind of subtle differences between the oak aging, between the slightly different blends kind of came out. And that was the one that really, to me, this one is, I don't know, that one feels like the most just like a really good Zinfandel. Like I said, the body there, the way it kind of builds on it. So I agree. That one was quite delicious. Let's see if I can find all the buttons.
All the buttons.
And that wraps up this amazingly, probably a little bit longer podcast than normal, a little bit more haphazard, a little bit more strange, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This is something we've been wanting to do for several years now. We've talked about it. And thankfully, like I said, some wonderful, wonderful friends provided 2 of the bottles that we were not able to obtain. Like I said, for this podcast has been super, super amazing. If you want to find any of the other things that we've ever done, you can go to AboutBeverages.com. You can also obviously always go to YouTube as another place to watch any of our videos. And if you only want the audio stuff, which is super cool, we appreciate that as well. Like I said, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of those things, just download and, all the things that you can normally do. You can find them. Search for About Beverages. That's kind of the way you find things. And when those things pop up, there's some other things that pop up too, right?
The 3 pillars of social media.
Some social media things. True. That's true as well.
Which for us are TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, which is the one that we use most often to keep you up to date on what's going on at About Beverages. Like earlier this evening, when even though we were going to be late, I tweeted that we were soon to be going live at About Beverages at twitch.tv/AboutBeverages, which we do most Thursday evenings, 5:30 Mountain,
4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern,
yeah, give or take. Like I said, and we'll keep you updated if it's going to be later. And that's when we get together, we hang out, we try some beverages, have some fun, talk about whatever happens to pop into our minds, and also throughout the week, Andrew's going to let you know what he's going to be doing in the gaming world. We'll keep you up to date on that and what he's going to be drinking while he is doing it. So for all the latest and all the up-to-date news, follow us on Twitter.
But, as we always say, whether we like it or not,
you should give it a multi-tiered shot.